This is Gene Bailey. He's a televangelist. He's on Kenneth Copeland's Victory channel right now. And his entire goal in life, the whole goal behind this show, is to talk about how great Donald Trump is at any cost. So I wanted to listen to Gene Bailey talk about Trump and how Nikki Haley is coming for him and all this other junk while we lead into the 2024 election. And while we listen to these guys, we're going to play some Breath of the Wild 2. Shouldn't bother you too much if you've never played it. It'll just be in the background. All right, let's listen to it, shall we?
So happy about Nikki Haley. In fact, some have become quite vocal. Watch.
Good morning, everyone. As I
My God, Rand Paul is terrible.
told you yesterday, I'm ready to say something about the presidential race. I've had a long...
We all know what he's going to say. He's acting like this is up in the air. Nobody can guess. Like, what's this guy's position on Donald Trump and Joe Biden? He's a right-wing extremist. We all know his position.
relationship with Donald Trump, and there's a lot to like there. I'm also a big fan of a lot of the fiscal conservatism of Ron DeSantis. I think Vivek Ramaswamy's been an important voice. Also have...
Oh, I thought it was going to be between Trump and Biden. No, it's definitely going to be Trump, for sure. He waited until after the Iowa caucuses, or the night of the Iowa caucuses. This guy, I'm going to place a bet here where no money is on the line. I'm going to bet that this guy is going to endorse whoever has the highest percentages in the polls right now. Let's see what he says.
I think Vivek Ramaswamy's been an important voice. Also have listened to and met with the independent Bobby Kennedy. I'm not yet ready to make a decision, but I am ready to make a decision on someone who I cannot support. So I'm announcing this morning that I'm Never Nikki. And if you go to nevernikki.net, you can let her know that you're not a supporter either.
That's effectively, oh my God, dude, this is ridiculous. That is effectively an endorsement of Trump. There is really no difference between the two because she was Trump's only possible opponent in this equation. He knows what he's doing.
I don't think any informed or knowledgeable libertarian or conservative should support Nikki Haley. I've seen her attitude towards our interventions overseas. I've seen her involvement in the military-industrial complex, $8 million being paid to become part of the team. But I've also seen...
I don't even know what he's talking about right now.
...her indicate that she thinks you should be registered to use the internet, that people posting ideas anonymously. I think she fails to understand that our republic was founded upon people like Ben Franklin.
Okay, I'm super suspect. I don't remember hearing Nikki Haley endorse any position like that. I'm just finding it a little hard to believe, it's all. But propaganda's gonna propaganda, right?
I think she fails to understand that our republic was founded upon people like Ben Franklin, Sam Adams, Madison, John Jay, and
sure, those were founding fathers, yes.
Others who posted routinely. For fear of the government, they posted routinely anonymously. And I think her failure to really understand...
They were the founding fathers. They were the government. Why would they post? What does he mean post routinely anonymously? And also, this is a completely different world anyway. I don't know if these people ghost wrote anything. To my knowledge, they didn't, did they? I mean, maybe they did, but their most famous work was under their own name. I don't even know what he's talking about right now.
Understand that, or to think that you should register through the government somehow for the internet is something that should disqualify her in the minds of all libertarian-leaning conservatives. So I'm announcing today I'm Never Nikki. You can go to nevernikki.net and sign up and show her that you're Never Nikki also. Thanks.
This guy's a weasel. Seriously. I don't like insulting people. And I don't even feel like this is really an insult. I feel like it's more of an objective assessment of this guy's personality. This guy is obviously trying to latch on to Trump's coattails and ride them to victory, right? Whatever victory that happens to be. He bent down and bowed his head to Donald Trump lower than anybody I've ever seen in my life in 2016, I think it was, 2016. It was shameless. In 2016, this dude was willing to do whatever it took to please Donald Trump, for lack of a better term. I don't even think he liked Donald Trump at first. Wasn't he like Ted Cruz in that he like condemned Trump and said that he was evil and bad and gross and blah, blah, blah in 2016? And now the dude is endorsing Trump? Like, what is wrong with him? Who does that?
Okay. All right, Lance, never Nikki, not net. I didn't see that coming, but he's pretty serious about it.
Never Nikki, not net. Interesting.
Your thoughts?
Yeah, this is kind of an interesting moment. I had not heard him say that earlier. But understand that Nikki Haley is the never Trump alternative candidate, which is why the Democrats are going to help fund it. I'm talking about the same deep state money that
give me a break.
Will be behind Biden, will be behind Nikki for the purpose of catch this. This is what Vivek is saying, which is why I think it's important that his voice is out there.
Isn't it fascinating that they're suddenly talking positively about Vivek again? His name is pronounced Vivek, by the way. I'm sure most people probably knew that, but just to clarify. They started out hating, or they started out loving him, right? They began their program in August promoting him and propping him up and saying how fantastic he was and all that junk.
I'll say two things. Number one, I think he's one of the most important voices in America right now. He articulates our values maybe better than anybody else out there. Kerry Lake's kind of close, but Vivek does it amazing. Secondly, I'll say this, Gene, over the last 2 or 3 weeks, almost every conversation I've had about the presidential race, his name comes up before even DeSantis or anybody else. I get asked about him by almost everybody. They want to know.
So this was an effort to pump up Vivek Ramaswamy, because it was viewed as valuable to Donald Trump to have more people in the race, splitting the field, basically, at the time, in August 2023. So they come out here on their show and they promote a Hindu. This is a Christian nationalist show. It went over so badly that they had to come out and apologize for it. It wasn't just Rick Green, by the way, this guy talking. It was all of them except Hank Kunneman. He shredded them. The dude second to the left, oh my God. He is a Trump prophet, and he lost his mind on them.
It'd be a great time for me to eat some crow right here from what I said a couple of weeks ago about Vivek, because, I mean, the Rolling Stone quoted me as gushing over him. I was like, oh, did I really gush? And I went back and watched it. I kind of did. It was awful. I was like, and here's the thing. And by the way, kudos to Kunneman, because you're right, brother. And I just want to say this. Why are we at a point in America where the church has done such a lousy job of raising up leaders that a Hindu articulates Christian principles better than any Christian candidate on the ballot?
See, this is a joke, man. These people are shameless. So anyways, they caught all kinds of flack for inviting Vivek Ramaswamy on their program because he wasn't Donald Trump, even though it helped Donald Trump. And now Nikki Haley is the one that seems to be a danger. And what are they doing now that Vivek Ramaswamy is clearly not the front runner, but Nikki Haley is?
That will be behind Biden, will be behind Nikki for the purpose of catch this. This is what Vivek is saying, which is why I think it's important that his voice is out there.
Isn't that fascinating? It's important his voice is out there. These people literally spent probably 20 minutes talking about how sorry they were. There was a whole introduction where he apologized. Here you go. This is July 21st, 2023.
Well, tonight, before we get started, I want to personally address some things about Flashpoint from last Tuesday. Let me start off with this. This program is based 100% on the Christian Bible. That is not up for discussion.
It's really not, but okay.
Flashpoint's totally sponsored by the Victory Channel and Kenneth Copeland Ministries. Neither I nor anyone else in this team has or will ever embrace another religion. So why did I have a presidential candidate on the program to...
Dude, is Victory Network a nonprofit? It can't be, can it? I know Kenneth Copeland Ministries is a nonprofit, but is the TV channel a nonprofit, I wonder? If the TV channel is a nonprofit, then what they just said is illegal. Not that it matters. They're not getting any trouble for it, of course. Is the Victory Network a nonprofit? Oh, it is a nonprofit.
That professes another faith. When someone of another faith begins to gain popularity, especially with the younger generation, you need to know about that.
Now they're pretending that they brought Vivek on not to help Donald Trump, but just because you need to know. They put the biggest puff in this dude's petticoat. I've never seen anything like it from these people.
Once you
outside of Trump, of course.
Generation, you need to know about that. We want you educated and empowered when it comes to matters of Scripture, our government, and even our presidential candidates. I won't back down. I won't back down from the Judeo-Christian values this nation was founded upon.
It was not founded upon Judeo-Christian values. That term, Judeo-Christian, didn't even exist until like the early 1900s or something like that. This is such a joke. These people are such a joke.
Neither will this ministry, this channel, this program, and neither should you, ever. I remain to stand proud and proclaim Jesus is Lord. And it's only that faith that will stand the test of time.
So, I think that's the end. Yeah, that's the end, basically. Wait, I pulled that clip. Why is that a right-wing watch? I could have sworn I pulled that clip. I pulled a bunch of clips from that episode. Anyways, so the point is that they really got some heat for putting a puff in this dude's petticoat. It did not end well for them at all. And they apologized and they stopped talking about him at all. If they did talk about Vivek, then it was not in a positive light, basically. And here we have them once again saying that Vivek Ramaswamy is an important voice in America and is influential and helpful and good and blah, 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 blah. These people are so shameless. They don't have any principles at all. You know what their principles are? Help Donald Trump, even if that means lying, cheating, or manipulating, whatever it takes. Get their goals accomplished no matter what. In my mind, it's not justified to do certain things. In my mind, I don't care what the end is. My means of getting to the end, the strategies I use of getting there, are not justified all the time. An ends justify the means mentality is what cults believe. That's what makes something a cult, largely. That and control and a variety of other things. But the point is that is an extremist mindset to have. Ends justify the means. And here we sit watching this happen. These people have no principles at all. And it's shameless to watch this play out.
Vivek is saying, which is why I think it's important that his voice is out there. He's saying the goal is to drive up Nikki as the number 2 choice, push DeSantis and Vivek out of the running, and then take Trump out one way or the other so that what you're left with is her. And she is the deep state choice to run. She won't change the border. She never saw a war she didn't like. Graham will love her. The deep state will love her. And
Graham? Did he say Graham or did he say Grandma will love her? I couldn't understand.
A war she didn't like. Graham will love her. The deep state will love her.
Did he say she's a grandma lover? That is absolutely unacceptable for a presidential candidate. No grandma lovers.
And you will lose the opportunity to reform America. That's what the voices are saying. And like I said, the Koch brothers raised $40 million. That's the only reason why she's surging. But
wow, he's apparently opposed to the Koch brothers all of a sudden. Would you look at that? Seriously, these people are shameless. They're absolutely shameless.
The data says 65 or 70% of people are ready to back Trump. 45% are ready to back DeSantis. Nikki Haley nationally is trailing in the 20s in terms of national buy-in. They're really focusing on influencing Iowa, New Hampshire, and Carolina, where they think are the 3 states, the only states where she's the strongest, really. And they plan on making a statement in those 3 states.
Well, I believe we're going to see a big statement here in right away. In fact, they're telling me that Mike is almost ready. As soon as he's ready, guys, let me know, and we'll.
What, is that Mike Johnson or Mike Lindell? Too many Mikes that are absolutely unglued from reality.
get the latest. There are already results.
Oh, Mike Garofalo, that's their supposed news reporter, quote unquote, who is really just a commentator who speaks with a news reporter's cadence.
Are in. When we come back from the break, after we do this, we're going to talk. This is why I'm telling you this early. Something that this show did and started back in September of 2020 is we brought you the latest of what was going on, not just in politics and the news, but we talked about the prophetic words and the prophecy and what happens.
Yeah, mixed politics and extremist Christianity. Sure, I agree.
And why does it apply to today? Well, we're going to talk about that after the break, especially and due to the weather. So stick around because we're going to really dive into that a little bit. And those of you anti-prophetic people, don't worry, you might learn something when we get into that. All right, Mike Garofalo, Victory News. Mike, give us the latest.
Gene, it's here, one of the biggest nights of the 2024 presidential campaign for Republicans, the Iowa caucuses at 8 p.m. East Coast time, 7 Central.
Yeah, so the Iowa caucuses already happened. I just tell you, Donald Trump won. So there you go. And Nikki Haley came in second.
Thousands of registered Republicans began to meet in about 1,600 precincts across the state. The gathering takes place in churches, living.
The gathering. By the way, Van Briggs says perhaps one could say their coats have been turned. One might say that, and one might be correct in that instance.
Rooms, hotels, that is, schools and other places. To take part, Iowans must be at least 18 years of age by November 5th of this year, which is General Election Day. The first order of business is electing precinct chairs and secretaries. Then representatives of each political candidate are invited to address the room. And now in some cases, it's actually the candidates themselves. After the speeches, the caucus goers are given ballots. They then cast their votes for their preferred candidates. The votes are collected, tabulated, and then the winner is revealed. A couple factors to consider. The weather in Iowa tonight, it is below zero across much of the state with the wind.
Yeah, if you missed the first part of this, like this is not the first part, but you know, it's not relevant to see the first part if you didn't watch it already. But the first part, they talked about how some woman, unnamed woman, claimed that she received a strange phone call telling her to be careful when she goes out to the polls because it's so cold. These people are complaining about it. They're saying it was wrong to warn people, as if that even happened. I don't know if it happened. These people are completely untrustworthy. But now this guy's saying, wow, is it cold? You don't say.
Chill factor. It is closer to 20 below in many towns, so that will clearly impact turnout. Speaking of turnout, there are about 718,000 registered Republicans in the state of Iowa. Last-minute registration is being allowed, so theoretically, independents and Democrats that want to impact the outcome could do so if they choose to register Republican for.
Oh, isn't that convenient? He stuck that little bit in. If Democrats wanted and independents, they could take part in the caucus as well, which would tip the scales in or against Donald Trump. And of course that matters to them because Donald Trump is their God Emperor. I'm not even saying that flippantly. They call him G. Otis, God Emperor of the United States. So anyways, the point is that they're coming up with an excuse ahead of time if Donald Trump does not win the primaries or the caucuses or whatever. So I mean, it's just transparent as it gets, honestly.
For this caucus. Now, in 2016, the last open caucus for Republicans in Iowa, about 187,000 Republicans took part. But an Iowa caucus win does not translate into the Republican nomination. In fact, in 2016, Ted Cruz, the senator from Texas, won the Iowa caucuses. And, of course, Donald Trump won the nomination. 2012, former Pennsylvania.
Yeah, that's true. It does give them a boost, though, if they win there. I mean, it's valuable to a campaign to win in Iowa. So they put a lot of their money into Iowa. And if they don't perform well in Iowa, then they usually drop out. And it narrows down to 2 people after that, generally. So Nikki Haley had a good showing. It wasn't perfect, not flawless, but she did get, I don't even know what she got. Let me see. What was her percentage? She's Indian, isn't she? Oh, yeah, she took 20%. Wow, 20% for second place. That's crazy. What percent did Trump get Iowa? He got 51.1%. Is that real? That's crazy. That's real. I'm just looking at this article here, released January 16th, 2024 from Politico, says Trump got 51% of the vote, 56,000 people. DeSantis, 21%. So he got second place. I thought Haley got second. Haley got 19%. But I think DeSantis is largely viewed as a loser here. He's not going to take anything from Trump. Haley is less scuffed from what it looks like to me. If Trump only got 51% of the vote, even with Democrats like contributing, that's crazy. You know what that means? I mean, not many Democrats are going to bother. Maybe a few. It's like how many people use ad blockers on YouTube. Honestly, it's nearly zero. It is an insignificant number of people, and it's pointless for YouTube to even bother going after those people because it's so small. It's the same thing here. There are so few outliers, so few exceptions to this, that it doesn't even matter effectively, in my opinion. We'll see what happens, but if Trump only got about 51% of the vote, that is a big deal. That means that he doesn't control anywhere near as much of the party as he thought he did. And in a rural state like Iowa, on top of that, that is crazy. I thought for sure the dude's going to get like 70, 80, maybe even 90%. Well, I mean, I take that as good news, personally. I don't know about you guys. It's really interesting. All right, let's keep listening to these nutter butters.
And of course, Donald Trump won the nomination. 2012, former Pennsylvania Senator Rick Santorum won the caucuses, but Mitt Romney won the nomination. In 2008, former Arkansas Governor Mike Huckabee won, but John McCain was the nominee. So once the votes are cast and counted, the results will be uploaded into the state GOP app, and then the results are announced. And it could be a couple hours, could be less until we know the final results. But, Gene, there are numbers coming in right now, and I'm going to read them to you. Donald Trump right now has 238 votes, according to Real Clear Politics. That is 74.
Again, we already know what he won. We already know what he got. He got 51%.
0.6%.
Step back. Listen to his analysis of what Trump has so far.
8 votes, according to Real Clear Politics. That is 74.6% of the vote.
And these people are just losing their minds. They're so happy that their God Emperor got 74-something% of the vote. Probably realizing but refusing to accept that there's a mirage here that's happening, that, you know, these numbers are going to change as more of the vote is counted. This is exactly what happened in 2016 and 2020. This is how it works. Early numbers aren't trustworthy.
Okay, coming in second right now is Ron DeSantis. He has got 49 votes with 15.4% of the vote. And that is followed by Nikki Haley with 17 votes. She's got 5.3%. And that's followed by Vivek Ramaswamy. He's got 13 votes with 4.1%. So clearly everybody's expecting Donald Trump to dominate. The real question is going to be how much is he going to win by, and what's coming in. And granted, it's still early, but what's coming in clearly displays that Donald Trump is dominating in Iowa. Gene.
Yeah.
Well, of course. I mean, Trump was always going to be the winner of Iowa. It's kind of a litmus test for rural communities, how the center of the country is going to vote generally. And that's why Iowa has been viewed as valuable in the past, because it gives people insight into who's popular and with what demographics, basically. It's outside of polling, of course. I find it interesting, though, that these people believe these numbers. They accept that Trump won by 51% and DeSantis got, 21%, Haley got 20% or whatever it was. They accept all that, even though those numbers were attained in the exact same way as the 2020 election numbers, the 2016 numbers, the 2022 numbers, 2018 numbers. It's all obtained in the exact same way. They accept these, they reject those. It's a joke.
Mike, is there any reports about how the weather has affected the turnout, or do we know that yet?
We don't know that yet, but you've just got to figure that with temperatures being 20 below in some cases with the wind chill, that's going to keep maybe 25 to 30% of people that would normally go out.
Okay, I don't know about that. I think that's a little far-fetched to think. He has no reason to believe that. But aside from that, low voter turnout doesn't really matter. I mean, low voter turnout is valuable for Trump, if anything, in this case, because the lower it is, the more simply enthusiastic people will show up. People who are on the fringes or don't really have a dog in the race, don't care that much, they're going to be less likely to show up. But people who crawl over broken glass for their guy, namely Trump supporters, will show no matter what. So I don't know why they're even complaining about the weather right now.
So maybe we're looking at 130,000 Republicans voting across the state, but it's early to tell. Hopefully more than that get out there, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think that's a little far-fetched, but okay.
All right, thanks, Mike. Bring it back when you got more to tell us. So you want to stay clued in. See, clue, because that was Lance. Yeah, okay.
No, I don't get it. Was there a joke in there? Did he play Clue with Lance Wallnaw recently or something? In the privacy of his own home? With some other merry men? I don't understand.
Lance, what do you think? Does it surprise you what we're seeing there, Lance, in the library?
I'm serious about.
Oh, he's trying to clarify the joke. He connected library with the game Clue. That's not funny at all. It's funny that he said it because it's so stupid.
What we're seeing there, Lance, in the library?
I'm serious about this. From the library here in Clue, I really want Donald Trump to feel a personal victory tonight, because it's the first time the American people are able to speak about the trashing he's gone for 3 years. Remember, he started off without even having a platform to speak on. He was.
You got to be kidding me. Trump didn't have a platform to speak on? Trump of all people? This dude is shameless. He's not below lying to accomplish his goals. He's not beneath cheating and manipulating to get what he wants. He's willing to say whatever it takes to convince people of anything. There are no principles to be found here. Straight up.
Deplatformed. And so I really hope it's a statement tonight. And I'm really excited over the idea that DeSantis may show stronger than Haley, because that would be poetic, I think, if that could happen in a number 2 spot.
Dutch, I mean, this is pretty interesting. You know, you've got a candidate, a former president, who has all these lawsuits and indictments. He's got a mugshot, yet he comes out already so far ahead. It's surprising.
Not really. He was already the president, so he has some degree of incumbent advantage, even though he's not really an incumbent right now. It's not surprising that he would. What's surprising is that the biggest scumbag alive is running away with a primary election. It's just disgusting that, like, these Christian nationalists don't see that this guy doesn't even believe in Jesus. He's scamming them. Always was.
To the status quo. Does that surprise you at all?
Not in the least. I think what this shows me, among other things, is that the American people are waking up. You know, if they believed a person was a criminal, then his support would not go up every time there's another charge.
I don't know that his support actually goes up every time he gets another criminal charge. I'm not convinced of that. I know that polls have showed some degree of fluctuation, but looking at individual polls is not valuable. We need to be looking at aggregates. And there's no real way to tell if his indictments have changed that very much. Either way, I don't know how people are not, like, seeing this for what it is. Absolutely disgusting.
They get it. They know it's political. And they're asking themselves, why do these people that want open borders and all this?
Nobody wants open borders. Nobody is calling for open borders. This is complete nonsense. I think that it's okay to have borders, but I think it should be significantly easier to come into the U.S. I think we should effectively throw the doors wide open, not actually remove a border, but make it a lot easier to come in, because immigration is actually extremely valuable for a country. Russia's trying to birth their way out of their problems. They're paying people to have children. We don't have to. We can just bring in immigrants all willy-nilly. And by the way, there's no evidence to show that immigrants disproportionately commit crime. No evidence of that whatsoever. In fact, there's evidence contrary to that. But that's neither here nor there. These people will believe whatever they want, of course.
This other foolishness, why are they the ones trying to take this man out? So more and more of them are seeing it, understand, and I think the American people are making a statement. I think what Lance is hoping for is going to happen. And I think it's not only going to happen in some of these primaries, but I think it's going to happen in November. I think the American people are going to make a statement that we know this is corrupt. We know these attacks are unjust. And we now realize why people that we don't agree with want him out of the way.
I don't believe that's going to happen, honestly. It's scary because the polls are showing a disturbing picture of what's happening right now. But I don't believe that Trump is going to win in November. I think that people are going to pull it out at the end of the day and prevent this from happening. I believe that's going to happen.
They're afraid of him. They hate him. So it doesn't surprise me, not in the least. I feel like God is exposing evil and opening the eyes of a nation.
Let me go to you, Pastor Hank.
I mean, yeah, God is exposing evil if you view that. I mean, Trump is very clearly an absolutely evil person, right? I don't know how it gets any clearer than it is. It's like the statement, half of the country is brainwashed. Literally everybody says that. Every single person in the country says half of the country is brainwashed. Because they believe that every Democrat is brainwashed, or they believe that every Republican is brainwashed. One of them is right. Who is it? I mean, I guess that's kind of up to you, isn't it? I think we can use some objective tactics to arrive at a conclusion about it, though. Like seeing who has an ends justify the means mentality, who is extreme and obsessive and willing to cut corners and destroy anybody, who has principles and who doesn't, or who has fewer principles than other people, really. I think we can come to conclusions about that pretty easily.
And opening the eyes of a nation.
Let me go to you, Pastor Hank. Your thoughts about this? Surprising at all?
Yeah, Hank is a Trump lover. He'd do anything for the guy.
No, because here I am in my studio. It's -7 outside. We don't have heat in my studio. But something compelled me to be here. And it's called, this man right here has had enough. And I represent America. America's had enough. And the weather did not stop those in Iowa. It's not going to stop those in our country who have had enough, because even though it may be cold outside, there's a fire burning inside of us. We want our country back. We want our freedom. We want election integrity. We want closed borders. The list goes on and on and on. And what the Democrats have done in the rhinos is they have touched people at a personal level. And they said, enough. And that fire did not stop the people in Iowa from getting out and showing what they really want and who they're choosing to represent us to take our country forward.
All right.
What was that? What did he just say?
I said we would go back to Mike Garofalo when he had news. Well, guess who has news? Mike, bring us up. What do you have?
Gene, the Iowa caucuses, the 2024 Iowa caucuses have been called for Donald Trump already by 8.
And these people are like just smiling away. You know what? They're nonprofits. This is a nonprofit organization. This is a nonprofit. This is illegal. It's legal for these people to have religious beliefs and discriminate on the basis of religion. But now they're mixing politics into that, and that is illegal. It's against the law for a nonprofit organization to take a political stand, to endorse political candidates openly. It's in the 501c3 section of the tax code. It says no nonprofit organization can oppose or deny or oppose or endorse. That's what it is. No nonprofit organization can oppose or endorse any campaign or candidate. That's what it says. I've read it 1,000 times. And here we sit listening to a nonprofit promote a political candidate. How are they getting away with this? They're probably getting away with it by claiming that he is their god. He is a religious figure in their beliefs. Seriously.
ABC News and by Real Clear Politics, Donald Trump has 238 votes right now. That is 74.6% of the vote.
Okay, well, it was obviously not going to be 74%. It was only 51%. But these people suddenly believe that this is like an overwhelming victory for him.
At this point, Ron DeSantis is second with 49 votes at 15.4%. So Donald Trump is being declared the victor by Real Clear Politics and ABC News. Gene.
Thank you, Mike. All right, so Lance, there you go. You got what you wanted.
Got what I wanted, and it's just as we're praying for
Amen. Donald
Trump. Man, this is psychologically for him. He's a human being. I mean, they're trying to...
He's a complete scumbag. Yeah, I feel bad for people who experience terrible things, but Donald Trump has put people through some terrible, horrific things. And in addition to that, he put himself in the position that he's in right now. So my sympathy for him is limited. I'm sorry, man. I cannot feel bad for Trump. This dude is telling us we should feel bad that Trump doesn't win a political election. Really? Well, do you feel bad for DeSantis? Do you feel bad for Nikki Haley? They don't care about any of those people. They care about Trump because they have no principles.
Strip him of his business license in New York and fine him $300 million. This is his...
I mean, they're not just doing that because they don't like the guy. That case is going on because he weaseled people out of money. He screwed people over. It was unfair business practices. He lied his way into the wealth that he has. He made direct claims that were false, which put other people in bad positions illegally. That is why they're doing that. But he's so persecuted, right? Got to feel for him.
Sons, his inheritance, Donnie and Eric, they run business. The Democrats are trying to crush him financially, steal their family's ability to do business, and lock him up for 700 years.
Okay, look. The state or the Democrats or whatever are not trying to steal Trump's ability to do business in New York City. You know who did that? Donald Trump did that. Donald Trump ruined his opportunity and his ability to do business or to stay out of jail or to avoid charges or whatever it is. That was 100% on him. He made every part of this happen. I am tired of people pretending that Trump is some kind of a ridiculous victim.
This is a statement to him that there's hope, and hope is what we've got to keep on our helmet the whole year, because this is an open door with many adversaries. That's like the weather. The door is open, but there are many adversaries. This year we're going to have to persevere in order to see a victory.
What the hell does that mean? It's like the weather? What?
Yes, this is the year we leave it all on the field, to use football analogy. Listen, we've got to leave it all on the field. You and I, we've got to keep praying. Yes, leaning into what the Holy Spirit is saying and listening to the prophetic words, weighing them if they're true or not. All right, we're going to take
All right, let me ask you. Oh, hang on.
Listening to the prophetic words, weighing them if they're true or not. All right.
Weigh the prophetic words, see if they're true or not. Of course, they're going to find some way that they're going to be true, even if they're not true, even when they're not true. Because Donald Trump is like their main man. They'll do anything for the guy. It's embarrassing. Oh, my God. Can these people, express their love for Donald Trump any more clearly than this? I don't know. I can't imagine.
We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about prophetic words, also about being canceled.
Oh, my God. Again, these people are obsessed with the idea that they're the victims in every case. This is crazy.
You won't believe what's coming up. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
This is just painful. Let me know what you think about that in the comments.